Don't film this part. I'm gonna fuck up getting out. Everyone's gonna know. And be like, he had to make a 90-point turn to get out of his alley.
What's 90-point turn?
You know how there's a 3-point turn, like a K-turn?
Oh.
When I was 19 years old, I was diagnosed with depression and a generalized anxiety disorder. Just, I'd have anxiety attacks and I wouldn't like simple things either about myself or about things that I was doing. Like this, I don't like doing this. I distinctly remember talking to my school psychiatrist at the time. I was going to a community college in my hometown. And after saying that I felt suicidal or felt depressed, I was immediately treated like a criminal.
I was totally clueless. It hit me like a ton of bricks. I was on my way home from work, doing the usual thing, doing errands before going to the bus stop, and I got a call, and I saw it was Paul, and I thought it was just one of those things when he would call because he wanted something from the city, or I wasn't really ready for what he was going to tell me. I had to look for a corner, and Paul just told me that he won't be able to come home. He's gonna stay at this center. That was one of the scariest moments in my life. I remember being there and being told, if you don't have a ride home, you're staying here in a mental hospital. I went through 3 or 4 different assessments where they all said the same thing. That I was an alcoholic, that I abused drugs. In a way, that's true. I was self-medicating, maybe. And that I was depressed and I wanted to kill myself. I could have fucking told you that. One time, I had Burger King breakfast with my dad, but I think it was in a different state. It was really weird. I don't know why I just had that memory. It's just like me and him. It was raining really hard. When? I was probably like a teenager.
You don't know where you were?
No, I have no idea where we were.
I had to take it all in. I had to set aside all my other questions. All I knew was if he had gotten to that decision, then he really needed help, because he wasn't the type who would be like, oh, I need to do this, or maybe not, or maybe blah, blah, blah. But that night, he was so sure that it had to be something I need to understand. And so I had to set aside all my questions of why, when, because I never had a clue. My mind was a blur. All I knew was he said he needed help, and I was just thankful that he realized he needed help, and that was it. So my 45-minute bus ride really felt like forever. Okay, so he decided that he was going to take a semester off. I think when he suggested that, or when he told us that he would want to take a semester off, my husband and I were very supportive. It was not like, why, what are you going to do? You know, we agreed that he needed a semester off. So while he was off, he was going into therapy, and I think it helped him, because he would talk about, not everything of course, but you know, He said, yeah, I'd really like to go back. I really need it, whatever. I think the semester off helped him in a way, because if there was any pressure or stress that he felt before, of course, you know, there wasn't any pressure from school or anything.
After that, I took a semester off. I, s- I stopped going to school. I felt like school was causing me stress. And that semester I spent off, I didn't drink, I didn't do anything. I only took the drugs that were prescribed to me, which in the end, they weren't that great. They made me feel numb, they made me feel nothing. I laughed because I thought I was supposed to laugh. I cried because I thought I was supposed to cry. I didn't feel real emotions. And that's when the weird stuff started happening, because I decided to take myself off my medication without telling anybody. And through the internet and through an online community that I found out that I was taking the highest dosage of the pill that I was taking. And getting off of it was one of the hardest times in my life, because of the withdrawal symptoms and with everything that I had to go through without telling anybody. After I went through that, I decided it was time to go back to school.
Oh, okay. So when he took the semester off, and he was ready, and when he said he was really ready to go back to school, there was a difference as far as his enthusiasm. He was ready. He was more confident of himself through the assignments, I guess, if you could call it. And as far as their speech presentations, he actually felt confident enough to share his experience, which I think worked for him in so many ways. It was good for him. He wasn't ashamed of it. He was ready to share it. And it was raw, because it wasn't made up. It's something that he really went through. He met a lot of students there that were not even his friends, who apparently were going through the same thing. But they couldn't talk to anyone. And just listening to the speeches that he prepared about his experience actually gave them a new view on what they were going through, that they weren't alone. Now, I think he's doing better than anybody could expect, better than I could wish for. He's more focused. He still loves the same thing. He still writes, reads, and I think where he is now is because of where he has been.
Because I still have to live with this. And if someone sees this and finds strength in the words that I say, don't tell me it's good. Don't tell me that I'm brave. Just take those words to heart and keep them close.
What did you get to eat? It smells bad.
I got a bacon, egg, and cheese McGriddle. You know what McGriddle is? It's a pancake. It's a pancake using like pancakes for buns.
More like a poop cake.
Yep.
I gotta bring out my best material.
More like a poop cake, am I right?
When you have no one
that is good for you. And behind you, I have warned you. There are awful things. Will you miss me?
Are we done? Just one more question.